Hey, how you going? It's Donna here, and today I thought I'd give you a little bit of a background as to why does a woman in her 40s suddenly decide to start horse riding. Well, basically I reached a point in my life where everything I was doing was because I had to do it, and I needed to find some joy in my life. I was hating my job. You know, there wasn't too much else going on outside of that because it was consuming a lot of my time. And I just reached this point where I knew if I didn't do something to bring happiness back into my life, there were going to be some serious repercussions. So I was sort of on that search for, well, what am I going to do? You know, I've got no kids, in my 40s, you know, there's nothing I really love to do outside of my exercise, of course, but that's sort of a discipline that, you know, that you just do. You sort of, not because you kind of have to at my age to remain functional and all the rest of it. But yeah, I had a bit of a think about things, and I remembered when I was younger, I used to horse ride with my auntie. My auntie had a horse, and she used to take me horse riding occasionally when she had the time. It was sort of semi-regular, you know, once a fortnight, once a month sometimes. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. And I loved being at the stables and loved being around the horses. Eventually, when I was old enough to ride my bike to the stables, I'd maybe go once a weekend or once every second weekend. I was able to go and ride and really enjoyed myself. Grew up, got a car, was able to drive to horse riding, and I was able to ride her horse. And probably sort of rode on a semi-regular basis up until the age of 21. Nothing special. I wasn't a dressage rider or any sort. It was just basically, we called it back then hacking about. Like, you just hack about, you just ride, you get on, you squeeze your legs, you hold the reins, and off you go. So it probably wasn't the best style of riding, especially for the horse. So I thought, well, let's give it a crack. Let's give it a try and see what it's like, see if I like it or not. Because basically I've always had this dream. Ever since I was a kid, I always said to myself, I want to live in the country, and until I do, I'm not getting a horse. I always wanted a horse when I was a kid. But I thought I'll do it when I live in the country, because then I've got my own adjustment, because the stables that my auntie quite often had for a horse were quite sort of tacky, and some of them were even, I would say, slightly dangerous, with nails and stuff sticking out the wood of the stables and so forth. But anyway, so that's why I said, you know, I'll have a horse, I'll live in the country, I'll have my own adjustment, everything will be sweet. And so I thought, well, is this just some childhood fantasy, or is this what I really want? So that's why, another reason why I also decided to take on horse riding again, to just confirm that my dream is my dream, that this is what I want to do, this is my goal in life, one of my goals in life. And so yeah, well, I did my first horse riding lesson in this very same riding school when I was 42. I'm now 46, and absolutely loved it. I've said it before and I'll say it again, it just feels like coming home. Like, I love it so much. And when I first started, because of work, I was only doing half an hour once a fortnight. It really wasn't enough. I had to sort of get some balls and tell work that I wasn't going to work every Saturday afternoon, and I took it up for half an hour every Saturday. And then after about 2 years, I did sort of 1 hour one week, half an hour the next. And then what? 46 now, so after 4 years, COVID came in, had a good 6 months off riding, and here I am. So this is lesson 3 that I'm about to head to now. And I will tell you, my ride got moved from a Saturday to a Sunday. Today's Sunday, and I'm just a wee bit hungover. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'll see you out there, and yeah, until then. How you going? Back again. Unfortunately, no footage today of my lesson. It was only half hour, and basically I sort of explained to my instructor how my legs constantly feel like they're working, like they're always on, and I'm always losing my stirrup. You know, my lower leg moves around, as you saw probably in week 1, and I kind of feel like that's something that hasn't improved, except once when I had Elise way back before COVID. And she finally got my legs, and so I explained this to her. You're the only person who's finally got my legs to do the right thing. So we spent a lot of the time, basically the horse was on the lunge, and we were just going around, and she was explaining to let my legs relax, actually, and just push down into the balls of my feet when they're in the stirrup. So we did a lot of sit trot, did sit trot without the stirrups, and just got that feeling of relaxing the leg, and tucking the tailbone under as well. My lower back's a little bit hyper extended, so that's something I really need to focus on, is tucking the tail under a little. But yeah, it wouldn't have been much to see, and also the horse was a little bit spooky today, so I think, you know, Elise didn't really want to have to hold the camera and look at the horse. She sort of wanted to keep a little bit on the ball, which is fair enough because it's a riding school and there's insurance and all the rest of it. So yeah, unfortunately no footage, but by the end of the lesson my legs was finally starting to sit where they're meant to sit. I do still find it difficult, and as soon as I start focusing on other things, the legs go. Like, that's the thing with horse riding, unfortunately. It's like, you can't just do step by step. Let's get this bit right, let's get that bit right. Like when you're riding a horse around, unless you're on the lunge, I guess it's a little bit easier, but generally when you're riding the horse around, there's other things to do. You got to steer it, you got to keep its focus, you got to make sure it's bending inwards and all this other stuff you got to do. And sometimes you're doing all that stuff, and then the other stuff that you're meant to be doing on top of that with your legs just tends to go out the window. So no, but it was really good today. I was really happy, even though it was a half-hour lesson. I'll tell you what, half-hour lessons go so quick. It's like you've only been out there for 10 minutes, but it goes so quick. But I think we've finally got the legs. So hopefully maybe next week we'll get a bit of footage of my legs doing the right thing. We'll see how we go. But anyway, hope you're having a lovely day, a great evening, good night, wherever it is your way. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.